Hello, welcome to the Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. This is the Age of Sigmar Stat Center, where every Monday, live on Twitch, we go through all the event results from all around the world, and we try to connect the Age of Sigmar community together. And we look at all the lists that are going to do well or have done well, and we talk about the trends and everything that's happening. Now, I recorded the intro before after I've done the review, so to let you know there's going to be a lot of Kharadron Overlords in this one, maybe a bit too many Kharadron Overlords, but we're seeing maybe a new meta emerge with Ossiarch Bone Reapers. We're seeing maybe a new meta emerge with Lumineth Realm Lords. That'll be fun to see as well. And also, there's some really great community moments this week with loads of really good events organized all across the world, so that's cool. Let's go look at our first event. First event that we're going to look at is the greatest community in the Nordic region. It's Norway for the Invasion 2025 AOS. We have got organized by Christopher Jacobson and Ulla Vatland. We had 52 people battling out in Norway in what looks to be a scene from 28 years later. Here. However, what many of you don't know is, number one, this looks like just basically an English area, but this was a 200-person event with multiple different game systems. They had 40k, they had Heresy, they had Mordheim, and they had 50 Age of Sigmar players as well, battling it out, which is great. It's great seeing Norway develop this bigger scene where now they're having these large events together. It reminds me, obviously, of the big Spanish event that they have every year, Talavera. There's also a big team event that we see in Italy every year now with multiple hundreds of people. So there are starting to become some like tentpole events that exist in each country, and if you're in one of those smaller countries, shout out to the Philippines or Bolivia or any of those places where they're building up their scenes, you'll get there eventually. It's taken a long time. I remember when we would have a couple of events from Norway every year, so this is great. Okay, so 52 people battling out. We only had 150 though. Oh, here's some pictures of some boards, by the way. We only had 150, and that is the very skilled, very fantastic, everyone loves him, Benjamin Fludda. He told me that I don't say his name right and I sound like a moron, so that makes me sad. Anyway, he's got a list called Dobel Kajer. I think I've said that right, which is a Skaven Fleshmeld menagerie list. He was running Restless Energy and also Scouting Force with a Soggy Screaming Bell, 2 reinforced units of Rat Ogres, a Soggy Garan Brewterror, and then a reinforced unit of Warplot Giselles. Then a Plague Priest on Plague Furnace, Clan Rats, and Plague Monks. It's worth pointing out, Plague Monks and also the Plague Priest has become more and more popular for Skaven players in the last few weeks. Definitely. Giselle is also a pretty out there pick. You don't see that a lot, but definitely the core of what we've seen over the past few months has been these Soggy Brew Terrors and also these Rat Ogres, also the Soggy Screaming Bell. So likely to see some points changes in the upcoming battle scroll for these, although I think Skaven are just fine. Benjamin's an incredibly successful player who consistently posts good results with lots of different lists. So I'm unsurprised to see him do well. And I think Skaven are in that kind of 4-1 bracket, and maybe they just need a little bit of love. Okay. Looking in the 4-1 sections, we have a bunch of different armies. We have Henrik Wash with a list called Point Update Delay Appreciation Crew. Very excited about the point update coming later. Running a Kharadron Overlords, Engineers Guild Expeditionary Force with Master of the Paths and Restless Energy. We have an Archanaut Admiral, an Archanaut Ironclad, an Engine Master, Scorcher Grand Grundstruck Gunhauler, and a Von Grimm Harpoon Crew. Then we've got Drekki, a Frigate, and 2 reinforced units of Sky Wardens. So what's interesting, I think, about this list is that you've got the double boat, you've got the Ironclad, and also you have, you've got the Frigate, which sometimes you see double frigate or just a boat, but you don't often see both. Also, because the infantry or the Balloon Boys or even the Von Grimm Harpoon Crew are currently so cheap, you normally see a lot more of those than points being spent on an additional boat. So that's quite interesting compared to these lists. But anyway, congratulations to Henrik. Then we've got Ida with a Kharadron Overlords list with a list called Balloons Go Poof with Restless Energy and Master of the Paths. We've got Brock, an Ironclad, a Gunhauler, a reinforced unit of Salvagers, an Engine Harness, a Frigate, and 2 reinforced units of Sky Wardens. Oh, interesting. So like a mirrored list. There's actually something that some people do when they go to events. Shout out to Rain of Stars crew when we did it. One of the things that I thought was really, really fun is if you and your friends go to an event with all of the same lists. It's quite cool. And if you have like a natural predator, one of you might get to skip it as you move away to the top. It's quite cool. It's fun if you do it with obviously super strong lists like Courage and Overlords. Also fun if you do it with like meme lists, like, you know, like all pigs or something similar. You could do it so that, you know, you create a bit of a meme at an event, which I think is something fun to work towards if you ever get the chance. Okay. So then we have Mateus, who was running a list called KO Finally Not a Trash Tier, which is also Courage and Overlords. 3 so far, but 3 4-1s. That's worth remembering. Master Pass Restless Energy with Brock, Frigate, Ironclad, Engine Master Engine Harness, and a Gun Hauler. Then an Admiral, a Company, and 2 reinforced units of Sky Wardens. I think that's also the same list. Brock? It's a very similar list. Yikes. Okay, either way, congratulations, Vitesse. Right, now we're getting into it. We've got a list by Lars Toyet de Bal called Ya, which is a Stormcast Eternals, Sentinels of the Bleak Citadels list with Master of the Past and Restless Energy, with the Iridan the Witness. This is so good right now. If you're a Stormcast player or you want to go play Stormcast, this is a unit you should be pushing around. It's so impactful. It's got lots it can do. Prosecutors, been good since day dot, since they launched. Paladors, Vanguard Paladors, Starstrike Javelins kind of made a comeback. Stormcast themselves kind of dropped off the map, but the Vanguard Paladors with Javelins have never really dropped off. The Knight Relictor, the Libs, and a unit of Stormstrike Paladors, and then a Knight Arcanum. But I think you'll notice from Stormcast, you just do not get a lot of board presence. Generally, we're in a meta where we got a lot of board presence or a lot of output, like we see from KO. Eric Sora was running a list called Burgerlust, which was an Ogre, more Tribes, more Path Menaces list with Interceptor, Recover, and Restless Energy. I'm going to use that. I've got Burgerlust. He had a Butcher, reinforced unit of Iron Guts, reinforced unit of Gluttons, and then an Iron Blaster. Then he got a Slaughtermaster, 2 units of Noblars, and a Gorger, Moorpack, and a Bloodpelt Hunter. Now, while the number of people who have been playing Ogres have been pretty low, and obviously we're all excited about that Ogre update that we'll see next year, new models, new book, etc., etc. There's been consistently a person, Carson, shout out to Carson, playing over from Canada, who's consistently done well, right? And now we've started to see people like Eric and other people using a similar list and actually having some good results with it, which is great to see. So that's awesome, really showing the way that Ogres can perform. Then we've got Lassie Kalberg running a list called I Don't Want Peace, I Want Problems Always, which is another Courage and Overlords army in the Engineered Guild's Expeditionary Force with Master Paths and Restless Energy. You have to remember this is Norway. They are historically famous for loving sticking dudes in a boat and going on the pillage. So I'm not going to hold the amount of KO against them personally. Then we've got an Arcanaut Admiral, an Arcanaut Company, an Ironclad, a Gun Hauler, and then we have the Engine Master, an Engine Harness, and a Gun Hauler, 2 units of Volgrim Salvagers, and then the Black Talons. So much more of like an MSU style list, which I think is interesting. Reinforced unit of Gun Haulers, and definitely choosing to only go for the one boat versus the one big boat, which I think is fun. So very cool to see. And that is, no, that's not it. We've got Stian Egbenson running a list called Invasion, running Idna Thiepkin, Achillean Beastmasters with Intercept, Recover, Restless Energy, with Mathalia, the Oracle of the Abyss, 2 units of Ishlan Guard, a Leviathan, a reinforced unit of Morsar Guard, Icon of the Sea, and then 3 Alapexes. Interestingly, when the book came out for Idna Thiepkin, we expected to see more. It also feels like Sharks or Alapexes maybe ended up being too cheap, and we thought we'd see Alapex spam, even when a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, Alapex spam was actually very consistent. Lots of people played it, and those models do exist out there. You know, they're floating around, pun intended. So there's lots of those models. So it's surprising to see that hasn't emerged or hasn't risen to the top. Instead, it does seem to me that Idna Thiepkin lists are floundering a little bit, but some key elements of what made them good is obviously the Leviathan, and also it does seem like Mathala seems pretty popular as well. So congratulations there. And then Jon Olav Ingolfsson was running a list called One Boat and a Dream. Lads, you are really making me struggle. Which is Kharadron Overlord's army as well. That's what I'm going to say. So if we take a moment to go back and look, in first place we had Skaven. Then in the 4-1s we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Skaven armies out of 8. It's quite a lot. But we also had Deepkin, we also had Ogres, and we also had Stormcast Eternals. Battle Scroll can't come sooner. Kharadron Overlords need to be dealt with in the Battle Scroll. I think that's fair to say. But congratulations, especially for Benjamin, to sneaking his way to the top with the Skaven and everyone who played. Because you still got to perform with the army. I'm sure there's some Kharadron Overlords armies that didn't go to the top. There you go. Shout outs to Thomas. No offense, Thomas. Or Morton. Also with KO. Okay, so I hope you all had a great time. Just to be clear, the chat pointed out I said that wrong. 5 out of the 8 4-1s were Kharadron Overlords, not Skaven. Sorry for saying that, but obviously you know what I was saying anyway if you listened to the video, or if you randomly jumped in at 10 minutes in the video. But either way, yes, something we should definitely discuss. And also, while I'm here, just remind you to drop a like on my video, maybe leave me a comment. That's always really nice, and it helps support me. If you don't want to support me on Patreon or something like that, which also is helpful, you want to do that as well. The next event I'm just going to quickly shout out is in Australia. It's a team event organized by a beautiful man called Coots. You may know him as the Big Winner Boy pop-up man. Organized in Geelong. And we have had a video from our infield reporter, Gene, which we're going to watch right now. Shout out to Gene. Here we go.
Okay, here we are at Dogs of War, Geelong's teams event. 4-person teams, 12 teams of 4 going head-to-head. We got an absolute fucking pit of snakes in there. You got some of the ex-Worlds players for Australia, current Worlds players for Australia, current Worlds coach for Australia. We've got boys from WA flying over. We've got the meanest group of Sydney-siders you've ever seen on the table. Fucking cuddly.
For people not from Australia, WA means Western Australia. It's about an 8-hour flight. So effectively another continent. Also, it's fair to say, I think this is true, Eastern Australia's a little wary of Western Australians because Eastern Australians just like live with like parrots and like, you know, just having a great time. Western Australians live in the fucking, they live in the sauce, right? Not quite Northern Territories, but you know, it's real.
There's to hang out with though, down here from Sydney. And then some of the grossest boys, known as the Beasts, who are going to make the wooden spoon the most sought-after trophy here, down from Canberra and from Regional Vic. I fucking love playing those boys. Everyone inside is an absolute A1 legend. Let's go check out some of the games.
Hopefully this music doesn't get us cut off. Pretty sweet. I'm throwing out the terrain's pretty nice. Hard wooden floor though. That's tough. That's tough on the feet. Let's just go back and look at this. Now, if you've not attended events before, or many events, yeah, it's worth shouting out the humble battle cart. You might not be aware of this, but many people, when they are attending events, they'll take with them battle cart, all the tools you need in a little trolley to move around. Famously made very effective by the French national team, where they would put snacks on it and push it around to feed people. So a battle cart. Now, this one hasn't obviously been given like all the mod cons. You can put wings on it, stickers, you know, you get a sweet wrap around it. There's lots you can get. But yeah, battle cart. And if you do have any great pictures of your battle carts, do let me know. If you've seen anyone rocking a battle cart in the comments below, let me know.
Day 2, Dogs of War.
What is going on with that plunging neckline on Gene? All right.
It was a bit of a party last night at Mikey's, but 2 successful rounds played yesterday. Everyone having a grand old time. And now we've got games 3 and 4 today finishing up. All right, let's go inside and have a look at some of these games.
Okay, there we go. We got some really nice armies. The train's great.
All right, we're in the dojo. It's round 4. There's half an hour left. Let's go check on New South Wales and WA on table 1, finishing it up.
Thanks to Gene for, again, as I have pointed out many times, every Warhammer event is near or in a dojo. I don't know why, but thanks for Gene to, as always, confirming that information and letting you people at home, because many of you might have thought I was just making it up. This is something that's not true. If you haven't watched my previous Stats Center video where I have hypothesized and for years on a Monday live stream proved with the Twitch chat that consistently there is a weird correlation between between dojos and Warhammer events.
Let's see what they're doing.
Very sweet to see. Oh, here we go. So the first place winner is Scourge of Geelong. This is a great video. Great job there, lads. There's Coots in the back left-hand corner. Does look like he broke into the building. Shout out to Team Mullet and also released the Strachan. Cracking. Oh, shout out to Beastish. Best Sports, hardest trophy to win. It's easy to win events, not easy to win Best Sports. Oh, beautiful. Lovely video there from Gene. Thank you very much. Oh, lovely. That's the point of events, right? Like, if you watch this and you're someone who doesn't attend events or tournaments or for some reason regularly watches what I do on a Monday, it's worth noting that the feeling and vibe you get from the pictures, the feeling and the vibe that most events generally have. And if your event or local community doesn't have one of those feelings or vibes, it's because your community sucks. And you need to go get a new one or start a new one. That's what you need to do. Anyway, shout out to everyone in Oz. Let's go look at the next event. So our next event is called the 5 Alarm GT 2025. And if we're talking about a community or community spirit, then there is no greater community spirit than at this Canadian event than the 5 Alarm GT, organized by the beautiful Dayton O'Bray. You can see him in, just to let you know where it is, it's just here. It's near Calgary if you get the chance. And you can go and listen to the Party the All Points podcast where you can find out even more information. You can see it was located in a fire station, so that's why it's called the 5 Alarm GT. And here you can see some pictures. This is a picture of the room. I was just shocked actually at this video, at this picture, because it's a really tiny man playing this event. Not that there's not anything wrong with the Short King. It's just so small. The miniatures must be like life-size to him. Like Willow playing or something. It's crazy. But anyway, obviously you can see great event, really well attended. And this is Dayton with his beautiful partner out here, like cooking up a storm. There's big flags to win. There's these odd cups, very uncomfortable, or coolers. There's everyone hanging out at a barbecue pit, which is very sweet to see. So yeah, just a really great family event. So just absolutely lovely. So again, it's all about that community. Anyway, if we go and look at the results, we can see we've got 2 5-0s. Carson Whitlock, Jared Brown, Ogre More Tribes with Carson, and then Jared Brown with Lumineth Realm Lord. So like we said with Carson, he's running a list called These Cheeks Were Made for Clapping, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these cheeks are going to clap all over you, which is an Ogre More Tribes, Morepath Menaces list with Restless Energy and Master of the Paths, with Slaughtermaster, Noblars, Iron Guts, Ogre Gluttons, and an Iron Blaster, a Soggy One, a Butcher, Noblars, a Gorger Morepack, and a Man Trapper. Exactly the same list that we saw. I think exactly the same list as we saw in Norway. So if you were trying to do well with Ogres right now, or you wanted some inspiration from an Ogre list, this is it. It's taking place in 2 very tough metas, which is great. And then Jared Brown was running a list called Hishin Sons Moving Company, which is an LRL Scenari Council Intercept and Recover Scouting Force list with Eleanor and Elathor, an Alarith Stone Guard that was reinforced, a unit of those, Soggy, Light of Altharian, reinforced unit of Wardens, a unit of Riverblades, an Enlightener, another unit of Riverblades, a Cathalar, and then the Regiment of Renown, the Skyport Profiteers. You thought we were away from KO. You would be wrong. You would be wrong. But one of the things I think is going to be really interesting is I think LRL have kept themselves just below the nerf line for the upcoming battle scroll. And we've seen over the past few weeks them doing very, very well. I would expect to see them have a very strong showing in the last 3 months of this year, just because of how effective they are and the fact that they're going to skip it. But super strong. Lots to do. Congratulations to Jared. Congratulations to Carson. Let's look at the 4-1s. Right, looking at the 4-1s, we can see that we've got KO again. Then we've got Slaves to Darkness, and we have not seen Slaves to Darkness in a while. Then we have KO again. Then we have Flesh Eater Courts. Then we have KO again. I did not know there's so many KO players in the world. And then we have OCR Bone Reapers, played by that fella, Carl Ong, one of the greatest people ever, running OCR Bone Reapers. It's nice to see OCR Bone Reapers doing great, because we haven't seen that in a hot minute. So Matthias Crucial was running a list called Zondrai, sounds like European fashion brand or something, which is a KO list. Congratulations to him. I'm not reading through anymore. Ridge Hanna was running a Slaves to Darkness list with a list called Me Push Cavalry Forward, Me Fight You, Me Drink Beer, which is a Dark Oath army with a Chaos Sorcerer Lord and 10 Chaos Knights and 6 Varangard, Gunner Brand, Chaos Lord on Demonic Mount, and then 5 Dark Oath Fell Riders, and then 2 units of 10 Dark Oath Marauders. So I wouldn't really call this a Dark Oath army. But the Chaos Knights of Varangard obviously super effective. And we have, it's worth pointing out, even though I don't know how it's happened, we have over the past few weeks seen more and more armies doing well with big massed units of Marauders or Dark Oath Ravagers or Dark Oath Fell Riders. So we have seen that a little bit. So it's worth pointing out that is something that's happened. Then we've got Adam Wills running a list called Short Kings, which is KO list. Congratulations to him. Then we've got Braden Rubrelski running a list called Two Best Friends, which is a Flesh Eater Courts nightly echelon list with Master of the Pass and Scouting Force, with Ushran, unit of Crypt Horrors, a unit of Royal Beast Flayers, then an Abhorrent Ghoul King, Royal Terrorgeist, Crypt Flayers, Morbeg Knights, Abhorrent Cardinal, Royal Decapitator, all in the list. So I think this is interesting in that we haven't seen as much Flesh Eater Courts in the past. First 2 weeks after the Flesh Eater Courts book came out, very popular. Now we've seen them drop off a little bit, but it could just be because of how oppressive KO really are. Maybe once KO go away, these are also going to be on the rise. Calvin Austral was running a list called Do You Know What Nemesis Means? A righteous infliction of retribution manifested by an appropriate agent, personified in this case by me. An horrible word. Also running Carriage and Overlords. Excellent. Congratulations to you. And then Carl Ong was running a list called Concedo Topo 2-0. Which is an OCR Bone Reapers, Mortars and Council list with Horizon Necropolis, Instant Recover Restless Energy, with Soul Mason, 3 units of Morgat Harbingers that were reinforced, and then a Skyport Prophetess Regiment of Renown for some reason. Well, to turn off ward saves. Wow, that is a wild list. That is fantastic. That's great. 3 massive units that are going to go smash while turning off ward saves. Great work, Carl. There you go. Really setting the standard really high. A standard maybe you can't reach. Anyway, I hope everyone had a great time at the 5 Alarm GT. They're all wonderful people, and I can't wait to see it grow every single year till it's eventually a convention. Our next event takes us to LA, Orlando in LA, right next to Disney, apparently. So they got to watch out for the mouse, otherwise it's going to get them in their sleep. Organized by Purgatory Gaming and Carl Raw, it was part of a large event, and is also going to be happening next year as well. So if you ever want a chance to go there, that's what it's called. It's called Enter the Crucible. Okay, so if we go and look at the results, we can see we've only got 1-5-0, and it's the wonderful Kevin Lathers of the amazing Georgia Warband. Kevin was running a list called No More Running for Me, Dog. Reap is finally calling my name, which is a Fireslayer Scales of Volcatrix list with Incept and Recover and Restless Energy. We've got an Auric Rune Father on Magmadroth, an Auric Rune Son on Magmadroth, then a Rune Master, a Rune Son on Magmadroth, then Berserkers with Flamestrike Poleaxes, some Flame Seekers, and then the Regiment of Renown. Queso Shop have really cooked with this book, right? They're like, oh, KO only 2% of the meta? Hold my coffee. Because it's popped off. Anyway, amazing. I mean, to be fair, dwarfs working together narratively is super, super okay. But that's great. So congratulations to Kevin. That's a great list as well. Fireslayers. really in a good spot at the minute. Really in a good spot. I think Fire Slayers are easily in like that A-tier army. They're not the S-tier army, but they're the A-tier army, and they can consistently do well. Kevin also does some consistently well events, so congratulations. Then we got Mackenzie Ewan in the 4-1s. Our first 4-1. Our 4-1s are Soulblight Gravelords, Skaven, Oceanheart Bone Reapers, Seraphon, and Gloomspite Gits. So don't be too disheartened. We have Mackenzie running a list called Did You Know Hugging is Good for You? That is why we specialize in giving out free hugs. Let's go. A Soulblight Gravelords list called with the battle formation Death Stench Drove. A Tuntic around the scouting force. We have a Soggy Sekar. We have a unit of Blood Knights and 2 reinforced units of zombies. Then a Soggy Corpse Cart, which I said we would see. Just maybe people don't want to push that many models around. A White King, Death Rattle Skeletons, and then a Soggy Corpse Cart again. Then Radikar the Beast, Kusagi Night Guard, 2 units of Varghis. Is there a more exciting battle tome right now than Soulblight Gravelords? So many builds, so many ways to play, so many. This is the first time I think we've seen over the past few weeks the Soggy Corpse Cart. We haven't seen that at all, really. So again, Mackenzie doing something really weird and out there and doing well with it. That's great. Jordan Rainey was running a list called Rats. Rats. Scram. With Restless and Scouts and running a Soggy, Gracie and Screaming Bell. Those 2 kind of mandatory units of Rat Ogres that were reinforced, I think. Rattling Guns and a Soggy Brood Terror. Then a Plague Priest on Plague Furnace. And again, those Plague Monks coming in very clutch. Very, very clutch. Yeah, great job. Well done to Jordan. They got Ben Barler running a list called I'm Worried About Scientists, Combing Crab, and Cheated DNA. Things could go sideways fast. I'm worried about scientists combining crab and cheated DNA. Things could go sideways fast. Running an Oceanheart Bone Reapers, Mortars and Council list with Intercept and Recover and Master the Paths. Running Vought Martian. 2 units of Morghast Harbingers, so not quite 3. 2 Mortek Crawlers. Oh my god. The Skyport Profiteers list. Oh my god. KO again. Great list name. I guess we all have to ask ourselves, Karajan Overlords, are you just running 8 to 12 Harbingers? This is what we need. Congratulations to Ben. Fantastic result. Bill Hennessy was running a list called Star Power, which is Seraphon, Sunclaw Star Host list with Restless and Wrathful. He had Slanstar Master, 2 reinforced units of Agrodon Lancers, Hunter Hornsea with Starstone Bowlers, and then a reinforced unit of Croxigor, and then the Saviors of Cinderfall. Honestly, I know Bill's a great player, but I think that's a great result for Seraphon. Just running classic, out the box, I would say, like a D-tier army, not good. It's an amazing result for Bill. So that's great. Obviously, he probably doesn't agree with me on that interpretation, but I think that's fantastic. Well done to Bill. Sean Page was running a list called Double Splatters, which is Gloomspite Gits, Squigglelanch list, and then Restless Energy and Scouting Force, and then Squiggleboss, 2 units of Boingrot Bounders, Moonclan Stabbers, and Squig Herd, and then Drogs the Sun Chomper, some Rotgut Troggos that were reinforced, Starfang Cavalry, the Starpack Cavalry, and then the Rabble Rouser and 2 Soggy Spore Splatter Fanatics. Now, one of the things that we said early, when the Soggy War Scrolls were coming out, is that actually they are very useful. There's a lot of utility there for scoring points with that build. It's harder to do. It takes a lot of brain power, but you can really score a lot of points for that. And that's an amazing result from Sean. Congratulations. Hope everyone at Crucible had a great time. You're all the best. Our next event takes us over to Italy for the Rise of the Everchosen 2025 GT and Final, organized by the wonderful Francesco Zella. We love him so much. He had 34 people battling it out. 32, sorry. Battling it out. And here you can see our winner. There we go. And there's Francesco on the right, organizing for his local community. And there is a big old hammer that he won. Here's some pictures from the event. There you go. You can see a bunch of prizes, some dice, a big old hammer. And then we get to go and look at the results. And in first place is Federico Azali with Nighthaunt. He was running a list called Skibbity Boppy Let's Go Ski. Which is a Nighthorn. Art is the naming convention of armies at this point, which is a Nighthorn Deathstalkers list with Chinti Garan and Scouting Force. With Lady Alinda, oh my god, a Mortarch of Grief, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units of Pyregeists. Then a Krulgas Cruciator, a Scourge Garan, Curtis Valentine, a Soggy Black Coach, and a unit of Spirit Hosts. So currently, maybe the Pyregeists are a little bit too efficient for what you get. And so taking them in multiples, especially in MSU, is very effective. And if you look, because of the army type, the battle tactics cards that are taken are very different to what we've seen most of the other armies play. Instead of having Restless and Intercept and Recover, although Intercept and Recover may be dropping off a little bit, Tunti Garan and Scouting Force instead, which you don't see much as a combo. So congratulations, Federico. If we look in the 4-1s, we've got Soulblight Gravelords, Skaven, Slaves to Darkness, and Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Ossiarch Bone Reapers making a comeback. Which is very exciting. So looking at Lorenzo Bakefar's list, which is called Soulblight Gravelords Vordry. He's running Soulblight Gravelords in the Bacchanal of Blood with Intercept and Recover and Wrathful Cycles with Vordry, Vampire Lord, Nightmare Steed, Reinforced Unit of Blood Knights, Death Rattle Skeletons, a Vengo Lord, Reinforced Unit of Blood Knights, and some Vargheists. So again, it's an A-tier army. Look how different this Soulblight Gravelords list is to what we saw Mackenzie over the USA play. Completely different vibe. Very playable. Excellent. Congratulations to Lorenzo. Simone Martino was running a list called Chi non risica non rossica, which was a Skaven Fleshmeld Menagerie list with Restless Energy and Intercept and Recover, with Lord Screech Vermin King, a Master Molder, 2 reinforced units of Rat Ogres, a Scourge Ground on Brood Terror, Scourge Ground, a Screaming Bell, Clan Rats, Giselles. First time I've seen Giselles in a while. Now I've seen it twice this week. It's pretty exciting. Obviously so good in long range. And those Rat Ogres coming in key. And there's Screech Vermin King. Very rare to see. Very rare to see. So that's really, really different. That's nice. Again, Skaven and Soulblight Gravelords probably arguing in that top spot for the different units you can take. I think Skaven really supported, though, by the soggy updates. So then you got Guillermo Fiema running a list called Archeon Final, which is a Slaves to Darkness Dark Oath list with Intercept, Recover, and Master the Past with Archeon. Been a minute. It's been such a while since we've seen the big lad out on the table. Be'lakor, Reinforced Unit Chaos Warriors, Dark Oath War Queen, 2 units of Dark Oath Marauders. So some really big pieces here. A giant block, those Chaos Warriors with the Dread Banner, and then Archeon the Everchosen. That's wild to see. Really fun going a 4-1. Like, I think Archeon's a really hard play, but maybe better in the current meta. Like, especially because you only really need the 2 objectives on most missions. So you can just hold with the Warriors on one and Be'lakor and then bully with Archeon on the other. It's pretty fun. You got Andrio was running a list called Nagash and Katie Friends Forever, which is an Ossiarch Bone Reapers Mortex Phalanx list with Nagash, Morghast Archai, and Catacross. What is that? 6 models. A 6-model army. I know we have Gargants as lower model armies, but obviously no one's counting Gargants, which we haven't seen this week, which is also great news for everybody in the hobby. So Nagash, Morghast Archai. Morghast Archai are just popping off. That's it. It's fair to say if you are an Ossiarch Bone Reaper fan, Morghast Archai have to be in your basket, or they have to be painted up on your desktop right now. You got to get them on the table because everyone's having fun with it and they're doing well with it. Also, great to see Nagash out there, great to see Archeon out there, and also great to see the Italian community having fun because they're such a wonderful group of people. And next year in 2026, they'll be hosting the Age of Sigmar World Team Championships. So that'll be great to see everything emerging from that and seeing them host it. Our next event is the Sparkle Party Deathmatch 13, organized by Dimensional Cascade. There were 30 players battling it out at this event. And in first place, and only 5-0, is Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Don't call it a comeback, I swear, before I open it. This is 15 Morghast Archai. What is popping off down in the... What is popping off in the mines? You ready? Here we go. This is our only 5-0, played by the fantastic Fred Smith. It is... his list is called a Mortek Guard using Catacross's Codpiece as a helmet. which is a Mortars and Council OCR Bone Reapers list with Catacross, 4 Archai, 10 Death Riders, 6 Mortis Guard, a Bone Shaper, and a Soul Reaper. So not quite what we thought. Not quite what we thought, but it could have been. Could have been at least 4 Morghast Archai. I think they're making a comeback. Gonna have to say it right now. Then we got, in the 4-1 section, we got Matt Slemon running a list called Plague Cyst Demon Prince, which is a Magican of Nurgle Plague Cyst army with Restless Enemy Wrathful Cycles, Scourging Around Rotigus, Rotmad Creed, Hybrid Decay, Lord of Blights, a Reinforced Unit of Blight Kings, Small Unit of Blight Kings, Orgots Demon Spew, and then the Godsmark Ascendant, which seems almost mandatory to have that Demon Prince in here for the Nurgle forces. Then we have Stark Pista with a list called Does Anyone Have a Painted Iridan and Lord Terminos I Can Borrow, which is a Stormcast Eternal, Sentinels of the Bleak Citadels list with a Soggy Iridan, some Aether Wings, Reinforced Prosecutors, Reinforced Reclusians, Vanguard Paladars with Starstrike Javelins, Terminos, Storm Covenant Vigilers, and the Portal. So, nice to see both start doing well and also Stormcast Eternals in there. But like I said, it's that Iridan coming in clutch. Jeremy Lemoy was running a list called Stuff, which was a Cities of Sigmar Veteran Cannoneers list. And while, sure, this is something that we know is very strong, it's the first time we featured it this week. And I think there's something that we should talk about there. Sometimes armies drop off before battle scrolls even hit, which I think is quite interesting. Incept to Recover and Master the Paths. And then we have a Fusel Major on Ogre Warhulk, 3 Ironwell Great Cannons, a Soggy Pontifex Sinestra, 2 Reinforced Units of Cavs, then a Frigo Marshal Relic Envoy, 2 Frigo Command Corps, Callus and Toll, and an Alchemite Warforger. So not any different to what we normally see, but definitely very rare now this week. And I mean, when we get to the review at the end, there's going to be a bunch of stuff which we haven't seen a lot of. We've got Michael Toons running a list called Don't Worry, My Tactics Are a Boner Tithe. Which is an OCR Bone Reapers Tithe Guard list with Catacross, Mortis Guard, Reinforced Unit of Archai, 2 Soggy Mortek Guard units, a Soggy Mortis and Bone Shaper, and Arcan the Black. Wow. OCR Bone Reapers just out of nowhere this week. Popularity through the roof, which is really interesting. And then Charles Van Ness is running a list called I've had it with these motherfucking goblins on these motherfucking chariots. Snakes on a Plane 2006, which is a Boostback Gits Some by a Pack army with Master Pass and Restless Energy, with Drogs of Sunchomper, Reinforced Unit of Rock Troggoths, Reinforced Unit of, a Snarl Boss on War Wheeler, and then 2 Reinforced Units of Sunsealer Wheelers, and a Fungo Cave Shaman, 2 Reinforced Unit of Boingrot Bounders, and a Squig Boss on Nasher Squig. It's quite interesting. I think the Sunsealer Wheelers are so difficult to just shift, and then you've got the big impact, obviously, from those Boingrot Bounders, and then you still got that like core linchpin Troggoth unit. We know that Boomspike Gits are just doing kind of okay in the game right now, so even though they're very popular army, so that's a great result for Charles. And I hope everyone at this event had a great time. Our next event takes us to Vienna, which is located in Austria, for people who are interested, for the Vienna Tabletop Championships, where 19 people battled it out, and in first place we had the fantastic part of the Serbian national team, Natasha, with Daughters of Cain. We're big Natasha fans at the Honest Wargamer, with a list called Marathi Goes Burr, with Arena Veterans, and we've got Incept and Cover and Wrathful Cycles, with Marathi Cain, some Shadow Stonkers, Caressa the Crone Seer, a Slaughter Queen and Cauldron of Blood, and then 2 units of Sister Slaughter with Bladed Bucklers, and a unit of Witch Elves with Paired Knives. All 3 of those units were reinforced. So, interesting. Also, first time we've seen Daughters of Cain this week as well. Definitely some of the big hitters not in attendance. Then in the 4-1 section, we got Benjamin Salomon with a Cenari Council Lumineth Realm Lords list with Wrathful Cycle, Incept and Recover, with Severith, Eleanor and Elithor, and a Hurricane Spirit of the Wind, then a Cathalar, an Enlightener, and 2 reinforced units of Blade Lords, and then a Light of Altharian in the list as well. I told you, this army is going to explode post FAQ battle scroll. And then finally, Dominic was running a list called Vihum's Fanboys, which is Daughters of Cain, Arena Veterans list with Restless Energy and Scouting Force, with Scourgikaran Bloodrack Shrine, 4 units of Canary Life Takers, a Soggy Caressa, 2 reinforced units of Sister of Slaughter with Bladed Bucklers, 2 reinforced units of Witch Elves with Paired Knives, and the Slaughter Queen on Cauldron of Blood. in there as well. So now I've said it, I've seen it twice, which is quite interesting. So that's on me. So I hope everyone in Vienna had a really fantastic time. Let's go look at the next one. Our final event takes us to Denmark for the Nørdcon 2025. You've got no 5-0s and you've got 2 4-1s. You've got Casper with Disciple Zinch and Anders with Karajan Overlords. So our Disciple Zinch list is called God Jader, and it is a Zangor Coven Disciple Zinch army with Scouting Force and Wrathful Cycles. With Kairos, Zangor Enlightened on Discus Zinch, Reinforced Unit of Zangor, some Zangor Great Blades, and then a Soggy Ogroid Thaumatage, 2 units of Jade Obelisks, and then a Godsmark Ascendant Demon Prince. And the KO list was a KO list, which is great. Okay. That's everything from this week. Let's take a moment to recap, shall we, and talk about what we have seen and what we haven't seen. I think it's worth noting, and I'm going to do a whole nother video on this, kind of, thank you to Warhammer Rob. We're going to be looking at the stats and give some kind of like stats to what I'm about to say. But obviously, KO's super oppressive. They need a big points fix. Definitely, that's true. However, we've also seen several of the maybe oppressive armies like Cities of Sigmar and Daughters of Cain drop off a little bit, and shout out to Cruel Boys, absolutely non-existent this week, which is kind of rare. Also Iron Jaws were non-existent as well, but Cruel Boys being non-existent is very interesting. Maybe this is people a little bit worried about submitting lists just when around a battle scroll could emerge. Again, shout out to Games Workshop, please just do announce when you plan to release the next battle scroll. It's not like they're writing it this week, they're not like putting the final bit of ink on. It's already been done. It's been done for probably a month. So it would be nice for you to announce that so both players and tournament organizers can take the right sort of armies to events, and you know, they could have more fun with it. That would be cool. But yeah, talking about armies that are missing, Cities of Sigmar, Daughters of Cain, definitely. Then talking about yeah, those key, and Cruel Boys also for sure. We didn't see any Sinesh. We didn't see any Gargants at all. Obviously, that makes my heart sing. That was great. Love that. And then KO just seemed super oppressive. But shout outs to LRL and OCR Bone Reapers making a big comeback, which I thought was super interesting. So we're all very keen, and the meta should be really keen for the new Battle Scroll, because the game was in an amazing place literally about 2 months ago, and then they've released a couple of books and they've kind of unfortunately tossed the apple cart over, and it's a disaster. So I'm hoping to see that changed. I'm hoping to see that changed very soon. And then I'll obviously be bringing you all the info about that as soon as it releases. So thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you soon.